It's time for a final review of France in Eurovision 2025. It's Louane singing Maman. We're going to analyze her final performance in Basel, talk about her results and what this could mean for France coming up in the next season. So let's kiki. Hi, my name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst, and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So this is my new series where I'm taking a look at the final performances from Eurovision 2025. Let me know what you think about this series. Leave a comment down below. I'm going to keep tinkering with it a little bit, trying out different ways of doing the software until hopefully I find the sweet spot. So today we're going to be checking out France's song. That's Louane singing Maman from the Grand Final. This is actually going to be my first time seeing what was shown to all of the televoters at home. Maybe get a little bit of an idea, why did this not work so well with the televote? As always, I'll leave as much of the original audio and visuals in as I'm allowed to. If I need to make changes, I'll put the original up onto my Patreon. Wanna know my secret bang? I'm probably going to pause pretty early because I remember the beginning of this. Yeah, straight into a pause. I don't like this beginning. For me, this song is ultra vulnerable. In case you know, this is one of my favorite songs this season. And her starting in this very seductive pose, lying down on the ground, it makes me think of a perfume commercial or some sort of fashion advertisement. It also kind of reminds me of David Hasselhoff, or you know when those guys in the 70s and 80s used to lie down seductively on the ground and then people used to put their posters up on the wall. It's not giving the vulnerability and the rawness from the song that I really, really wanted. I think it's right at the start as well. So I think it really sets a tone in the wrong way. So yeah, I don't like this again. Also her holding the hourglass, I get it. It's chic and she turns it and then the sand's going to start coming down. So yeah, I kind of like that. But again, the negative aspect of that is that it just doesn't feel very minimalist, earthy, vulnerable that I think the song sounds like. It's kind of a bit too chic. Again, smiling a little bit at the start and dropping it. It's a bit too rehearsed, I think. I don't know. We'll talk about this overall, but like the music video I felt more aligned with the song. This just feels a tiny bit disjointed. I still love this, by the way. It's stunning. I'm not going to deny for a second. Like, look at that. It's just absolutely and utterly gorgeous. Her dress, this sand, the whole world being blocked out, so it's just you and her together, and then the sand rubbing. It's incredibly chic and editorial. But does that match with the song? We'll talk about Voile and Barbara Pravi later. But there's some beautiful tableaus here. Yeah, it's just like that. It's just a bit too, like, have a look at that again. I don't know, it's just a bit too rehearsed. I would have given her choreography, but I wouldn't have said, like, do exactly this. I would have just been like, just stand up and do something. So just float into it a little bit more, or just give her a little bit more freedom in the choreography. It just constrains her and it makes it feel a bit too like someone else has written the song for her and they've written this package for her, when this is self-penned, one of the very few songs we had this year which is written entirely by the artist. She looks gorgeous though. Yeah, and the hand with the lights as well. The thing is that actually the lights work against her because they even more emphasize how this was pre-planned. You know, which I guess, like, they're synchronized and it looks right, but it's just too produced. It's giving Sweden. And this is a Swedish artistic director. I actually forgotten about that. It's Fredrik Rudman. But like the gorgeous tableaus, like the hand going into the sand, it's cork, but it's still stunning. Vocals are pretty clean. I do love that lighting in the background, that kind of like orange lighting. That lighting there, that kind of twinkling orange light, almost give me like she's in the sky and this is like a city off in the distance. Vocals a tiny blip there. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I just think this is the right staging for somebody else. I just don't think it's the right staging for this song. It's stunning though, but I don't think it's the right pairing. There's just so many marks, and she hits them all. She's not missing any of the marks, but it's taking away that authenticity. I like this moment with the mirror, but I think some people are going to find that goofy. And you know, it's very intimate there. That moment where we just saw her up close here really does remind me a little bit of Switzerland as well, who also had this incredibly intimate up close. Everything else has been deleted, and that got 0 telephone points. So there's something about these like incredibly closed off performances. Now 2 is not a huge sample size, but neither of them super resonated this year. And Benjamin Ingrosso didn't resonate either when he was super credited. I'm not saying that's like a definite pattern, something I need to think about a little bit more, but is there a point where you just get so detached from the contest that it just comes across too artificial, perhaps? These manners are a little bit feel more natural. That feels less choreographed. I just would have liked if they could integrate these way of her interacting with this waterfall of cork. Just, I don't know, how can they make it feel more natural? If she had to walk through it to get to something or pass it, but every time she puts her hand in and out, again, you can tell it's choreographed. This is bewildering, this part. Absolutely bewildering. Now, many people pointing out that, and this isn't even the worst part of it, that this looks like this could be coming from the posterior of her body, the back of her body. Wild to me that nobody in the French delegation picked this out. I saw several people talking about this on Twitter, and I had several of my casual friends and family messaging me like, why is she farting gas? This part, like that, crazy to me that nobody in the French delegation picked up. You know, you could have a highbrow attitude to this and say, of course it's not her farting, but there are people who think that looks like that she's farting gas. Now, the other thing as well is, because I was standing at the side, the way this was done, it was someone holding like a gun behind her, like a special effects gun, and they shot it out. They easily could have gotten that person to stand to the side and point so it came diagonally, so it didn't look like it came from her. It would still give the same effect of a kind of wow moment, but it wouldn't look like gas emerging from the back of her body. Crazy. This gives an impression to me that the French delegation are not on social media or not looking for feedback in any way, because if they had have been, many people were talking about this on Eurovision Twitter about how this looks really bad. And I think that anyone who was just a little bit iffy at this point, maybe at home, a casual watching, would have started laughing at this. It's such an obvious reference. I don't know how they missed this. Like there again, you know, it's just, it's such a crazy faux pas to me. And it's a wow moment as well. It's just like, you've totally lost your wow moment because it looks like something else. It's such a shame. This is an incredible moment though. This, wow. Leading into one of my favorite parts of the song as well, and getting this helix of sand with this black background. Definitely a super wow moment. This would have brung up their score a bit. You can hear the crowd cheering as well. I think that was a genuine cheer as well in the crowd. Wonderful. Absolutely beautiful. One of the most beautiful Eurovision moments in recent years. Absolutely. That helix. And also this path, talking about her path and her mother's path and how they intertwine. There's so many beautiful metaphors within this imagery as well. So it's relevant. Super chic, super elegant. I have 0 notes of this part. I have notes for other parts, which I've already said, but this is magical. Okay, a little bit more like, this is the four Mamans. This was a crucial moment for me. I love it in the Radiohead. I think it's done perfectly. Let's hear how she did it. I don't like the fourth one. The first three I like. The softer spoken one. She did the same thing in the jury show, I believe, as well. I don't know. I preferred it in the Radiohead. I think it was just more effective. I think taking the foot off the pedal for that fourth one, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what casuals thought about it. For me, I have something to contrast it against because I know what the Radiohead sounds like. For people who are hearing it for the first time, I wonder what they thought. What did you think? Leave a comment down below. Vocals a tiny bit off there. Okay, coming into the ending. I can't remember her daughter's voice is done. Really, really beautiful ending there. Look, overall, I really enjoyed this. I think it's absolutely and utterly stunning. But I just feel a bit of a mismatch with the staging and with what the lyrical content and what its intention is. You look at something like Tattoo. Tattoo is just it's just a pop song. I don't think the lyrics are anything to read into. I don't feel like there's real rawness in it. So she had this wow staging. A lot of the wow elements of that song are quite superficial. It's just got a great melody. It's got very catchy. It looks stunning. This I felt like relied a lot more on the rawness and the realness, like Baba Pravi Voila. Now, Baba Pravi Voila did a perfect mix of the chicness and the gorgeousness, but it didn't interfere with how Baba Pravi did the performance. She still gave it earthy. She still gave it raw. It still felt totally and utterly 100% real. I never got the sense of choreography from Baba. She also put her hands up. She also did stuff like that, but it wasn't accentuated with lights in the same way that Louane did. So when she puts her hand up and the light goes off, I'm not thinking, oh, this is like a raw, real emotion because she's in the moment. I'm thinking, oh, she was told to do that and the lights come on to match with her. So it's like, okay, it just subconsciously, I'm just like, this isn't feeling as real. Maybe Barbara Pravi did that. Maybe she did do moments when lights come out, but they tricked me into thinking that it was super, super real. I never have noticed that watching Barbara Pravi the same way I have with Louane. Maybe it's a difference in the artist as well. Maybe Barbara is just better at making it feel like the first time she sung it and she's desperate and she's urgent and it feels totally vulnerable. I just wasn't getting the same feels there. I actually got more of that vulnerability feel from the music video where she was in that house. I did a reaction to the music video on this channel where she's in the house and she's dealing with the doll's house, looking in at herself as she's younger, which is also her daughter. Sitting room has been taken over by plants and she's just dressed kind of more like just every day. And it just felt like it hit the mood much better than this did. This is just too chic for me. It's too clean, too choreographed, too produced for what the song is. I still think it's really, really gorgeous. This is still going to end up very, very, very high in my final rankings. By the way, I'm going to do a final ranking video after this series. In hindsight, I think that the French delegation were like, okay, we're pairing up an amazing artist, Louane, with a really, really great song. That's probably with one of the best staging directors, Frédéric Krudeman. I think it's just a little bit too mathematical. That's not how Eurovision works. It's not just like adding up all these sums and then you get the answer. In hindsight, I don't think that Frédéric Krudeman was the perfect match for Louane. He wasn't able to convey that voice. It was a bit too overproduced Swedish, in my opinion. Song-wise as well now, let's be real. It's not like this song had the most incredible hot reaction when it was released. I really, really, really liked it. It didn't go straight into my number one position. It was lower down. And then it kind of worked its way up. So a little bit of a grower, not an instant wow. I remember this having a slightly frosty, not frosty, but not meeting expectations because it was the last song released in the season. It was second in the odds when it was released. So people had very, very high expectations. I think if it had no hype, people would have received this warmly, but I don't think they ever would have been talking about it being an automatic winner song. So for me, the path to win was always winning the jury. And she came close, I think, didn't she? Yeah, she was third in the jury with 180 points behind Switzerland, who had 214. And Austria had 258. So the jury definitely loving both her and Switzerland, who both had this very intimate, focus only on them, no crowd, black background performance. And then in the televote, she was 14th with 50 points. Let's go to Reorder Board. Shout out to Reorder Board who've done these incredible graphics. I just was gooped when I saw them, just goop goppery. Let's have a look at where their points came from. So we can see jury-wise, 12s from Armenia, Luxembourg, Greece, Albania, Serbia. That's a pretty good spread. Actually a lot more 12s from countries in Eastern or Southern Eastern Europe. So that's actually kind of interesting that they respond to this so well. 10 from Germany, 8 from Spain. Very strange 25th place from Azerbaijan. That's so random. That's second last. Why has Azerbaijan put them second last? That's so weird. Israel putting a 20th, which is weird because France usually give Israel great points. Portugal putting a 12th. So maybe I think this is the type of song that Portugal would normally like. I feel like those production moments possibly hurt a little bit. And Belgium putting it 14th, which is strange as well, considering it's a French-speaking song. Let's look at the televote. No 12s. 10 from Armenia. We know that France and Armenia have a little bit of a point swap. Luxembourg 6, Greece 5. So Greece really, really, really loving this. Greece and Armenia and Cyprus, or those sort of countries have an overlap in the songs that they like. Switzerland giving 4, Spain 1, Belgium 8. So Belgian public disagreeing with the jury. Montenegro 2. And then otherwise, Ireland putting it 15th, 14th. No, it doesn't look like it's doing bad. It looks like it's mostly in the teens. Most of them look like they're between 13 and 17. I don't really see much of a pattern in those 8 countries who rejected it. And then rest of the world, only 19th. Overall, she came 7th, which I think the French delegation were probably a little bit disappointed. I won't be massively disappointed. For 7th is still an incredible result. Actually, France could be starting one of those streaks. In case you don't know, Italy are on a streak now where they've had 8, not 1, 8 top 7 finishes in a row. I think France have just started one of those, haven't they? Yeah. They're at 4th last year, 7th this year. So they're on a 2 streak now of being top 7. So it's nothing to poo-poo, but maybe it might be good for France to try something a little bit different next year. This is their 2nd ballad in a row. Évidemment obviously had a little bit more of a beat to it, but then we had Louane, which was a bit of a risk. That was with their national final, C'est vous qui décidez. Barbara Pravi was C'est vous qui décidez as well. She came 2nd. So I know that their head of delegation, Alex Redmiel, wants to go to a long-term national final. She didn't say specifically C'est vous qui décidez, but she wants to have something in the realm of Melody Festival under Sam Ramos. She said that on a radio show. But recently their pattern has been to use artists from The Voice. I know that someone's expressed, if I can find his picture, I'll put it here. There's a guy who won The Voice who's expressed interest. And for me, I felt like Francis went a bit too mathematical this year, a bit too like there's a recipe to winning. And if you hit all of these boxes, you're going to get the win. Lacking a little bit of that actual earthiness, lacking that little bit of an X factor, something different, something where that you need to win as well. I think that was the ingredient that they missed. But I love them in Eurovision. I look at those results. They're really, really great Big 5 country. And I would say since 2016, they would have qualified every year apart from Louane. I think it's arguable that Louane wouldn't have qualified. No guarantee, because they came 24th, which doesn't necessarily mean that they wouldn't have qualified. But if they would have qualified, they probably would have been 10th. It's arguable that France would have a 9 qualification streak. If you say Louane didn't qualify, well, then it would be 3 qualifications. They would be a very strong qualifying country. You want the Big 5 to step up because you kind of want them to earn that spot on the final. But they earn it by paying all the money and having loads of people. But yeah, you also don't feel like they're taking the place of someone better in the semi. And I don't feel like France are one of those countries who take the place of someone better. So I really love them in Eurovision. Very excited to see what they're going to be doing next year. What do you think they're going to be doing next year? Leave me a comment down below. Are we going to have C'est vous qui décidez back? Are they going to keep up with taking artists from The Voice France? Let me know what you think. Thank you to those who've been supporting me on PayPal and Buy Me Coffee. If you want to support the channel, I'll leave a QR code for you here and a link in the description. And of course, thank you to all my wonderful patrons for patronizing me from all around the world. On my Patreon, you can get so much fun Eurovision stuff in the off season. Go check it out. But of course, thank you so much just for being here. See you in another Eurovision analysis video very soon. Goodbye.